So it looks like the Arabic nations are trying to come together to call for a ceasefire in the UN, uh, though the United States will probably block it because they usually block anything that goes against the Israeli government. And it's not like the Israeli government actually cares about UN laws or international laws whatsoever.
Turning now to the crisis in the Middle East and the latest UN effort to reach another ceasefire. Islamic nations are calling for a vote to demand a humanitarian truce, but the U.S. can block that effort. All of this sparking protests outside UN headquarters on the east side. Eyewitness News reporter NJ Burkett is there with more. NJ.
Yeah, and right, this is the first of several demonstrations planned for today. This one taking place, as you said, outside the main gate of UN headquarters, where world leaders, diplomats will meet today to consider a humanitarian ceasefire. Pro-Palestinian demonstrators were met with hecklers this morning outside the UN, who claimed that the Israelis have a right to defend themselves. Those hecklers comparing Hamas to ISIS.
Yeah, but nobody says that the Israeli government can't defend themselves against terrorist attacks. What people are saying is that the Israeli government doesn't have the right to be committing war crimes against innocent Palestinians. Trying to equate the two is pretty disingenuous.
Yes, the protest movement is stepping up today as the Israeli army tightens its grip on Gaza, and the civilian death toll continues to climb there. Israel's under increasing pressure to sharpen the war effort, sharpen the focus to limit civilian casualties. But
Yeah, how can the Israeli government claim to be just committing self-defense when there's thousands and thousands of innocent civilians being killed by the IDF, as well as people being killed by Israeli settlers that are funded and armed by the Israeli government, as well as protected by the IDF.
Israeli commanders have been insisting that the military campaign, their particular objectives, make civilian casualties inevitable. Demonstrators outside the UN said they don't accept that. One man I spoke with said that Hamas attacks on Israeli civilians on October 7th were war crimes. But he claims that Israel's response has been extreme, and the U.S., he insists, shares the blame.
Well, yeah, just because one group commits a war crime doesn't mean the response to that war crime is to commit war crimes against innocent people, because that makes both groups the same. Both are terrorist groups that are willing to kill innocent civilians.
What do you feel the United States should be doing now?
They should be telling the Netanyahu government, threatening them to stop aid if they don't stop bombing Gaza. The United States policy toward Israel and Palestine is creating more danger for Jews both here in the United States, but also in the Middle East.
Yeah, and the United States could easily revoke funding from the Israeli government if they were to continue to commit um, uh, war crimes, though, because most of our Congress is filled with Christian Zionists that want to see the end of the world via Bible prophecy. They will continue to support the Israeli government no matter what the Israeli government does.
And again, world diplomats are expected to convene here at the United Nations this afternoon as the Secretary General warns, a very dire warning of a growing humanitarian crisis.